So my family planned to go on an 8-day trip to Wyoming to see Yellowstone National Park, Grand Teton National Park, and a lot of other really cool stuff. Needless to say, I was more than excited. I decided to try and capture the experience with a video, and here it is. A little disclaimer though, I didn't want to spend my entire week looking through a lens, so I didn't film everything, but I think there's more than enough to tell the story. So here we go. We had to be at the airport by 6:15, and since we live an hour away, that meant we had to be up before 5. We had a 5-hour flight to Salt Lake City, Utah, and then waited 4 hours for our connection into Wyoming. The mountains were breathtaking, and it really shows you how beautiful God's creation is. We got settled in our cabin and grabbed a bite to eat before crashing for the night. The next morning, we took a tram to the top of the mountains where we were staying. The view was crazy. We got some pictures, and of course, coming from Georgia where we never get it, I had to play in the snow a little bit. We grabbed lunch at this little waffle stand on top of the mountain, and then went into Jackson to see the town. The third day, we went to Yellowstone National Park. It was about an hour drive through Grand Teton National Park. We got to see a lot of geysers, including Old Faithful, and even some bison. And of course, we pulled over so I could play in the snow a little bit more. The park was beautiful, and I was so grateful to have the experience. That same day, we drove to the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center in Montana, and then it was a long drive home for our exhausted crew. The next day, we went on a hike close to where we stayed. It was 2.5 miles around Phelps Lake to this rock with a 20-foot drop into a cold glacier lake, so of course we jumped. My sister and I had so much fun, and I'd say my mom did a pretty good job manning the camera. Definitely one of my favorite things that we did. We hiked back just in time before it started storming, got some burgers, and called it a night. The next day was very calm. I slept till noon and just used my sister's computer to edit until her and my mom came back from shopping. Then we went to go eat a covered wagon dinner. My camera's pretty bulky, so I decided not to bring it, but I got what I could with my phone. It was a pretty cool show, and I was happy I got to experience it. The next day, we woke up early and took a float trip down the Snake River. It was a lot of fun. On our last day of the trip, we went back to Yellowstone, drove around, and just stopped at all the cool things we could see. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to spend our last day. And then just like that, it was over. The next day, we woke up and left to go home. This trip was incredible, and I'll never forget it. Definitely recommend going to Wyoming once in your life. And this was my little travel log, so I hope you enjoyed it.